The birth of the United States Constitution in 1787 was a momentous event, not just for America, but for the world. It marked a paradigm shift in governance, pioneering the concept of a written constitution that limits state power and safeguards individual liberties. This novel experiment in self-governance resonated far beyond American shores, influencing constitutional movements across the globe. Many nations, newly freed from colonial shackles or seeking to reform existing systems, looked to the American model for inspiration, adapting its principles to their unique contexts. The American Constitution, with its emphasis on individual rights, separation of powers, and democratic ideals, provided a blueprint for emerging democracies. Its influence is evident in the constitutions of countries as diverse as France, Japan, and South Africa. This borrowing and adaptation of constitutional principles underscore the interconnectedness of political thought and the global impact of American constitutionalism. The success of the American experiment, despite its flaws, fueled hope for a more just and equitable world order, inspiring nations to embrace constitutionalism as a pathway to progress and stability. However, the process of constitutional borrowing is not a mere act of imitation. It is a nuanced and complex process, involving the adaptation of foreign ideas to local contexts. Nations adopting constitutional principles from elsewhere must grapple with their unique histories, cultures, and political realities, shaping these borrowed principles to suit their specific needs. The American Constitution, while a source of inspiration, is not a one-size-fits-all model. Each nation must chart its own course, drawing upon external influences while forging a constitutional identity that reflects its values and aspirations. India's constitution, adopted in 1950, stands as a testament to this dynamic interplay of borrowed principles and indigenous aspirations. Emerging from the shadow of colonial rule, India's founders embarked on the ambitious task of framing a constitution for a diverse and populous nation. The American Constitution, with its emphasis on individual rights and limited government, provided a significant influence on India's constitutional journey. India's Constituent Assembly, tasked with drafting the Constitution, engaged deeply with the American experience, drawing inspiration from its principles and structures. The framers of India's Constitution found resonance in the American commitment to individual liberty enshrined in the Bill of Rights. India's constitution incorporates a comprehensive chapter on fundamental rights, drawing heavily from the American model. Freedom of speech and expression, freedom of assembly, and the right to equality before the law, considered cornerstones of the American system, found their place in the Indian Constitution as well. This adoption of fundamental rights reflects a shared commitment to individual dignity and autonomy, transcending geographical boundaries. Beyond individual rights, the American influence on India's constitution extends to the structure of government and the principles of judicial review. India adopted a federal system with a written constitution, much like the United States, dividing powers between the central government and the states. This division of power, designed to prevent tyranny and promote regional autonomy, reflects the American emphasis on limited government. Moreover, the Indian Constitution, like its American counterpart, grants the judiciary the power of judicial review, enabling it to strike down laws deemed incompatible with the Constitution. This power of judicial review is central to upholding the supremacy of the Constitution and safeguarding the rights of citizens. Section 3. Judicial power, a shared bedrock. The principle of judicial review, deeply ingrained in both the American and Indian constitutional systems, underscores the importance of an independent judiciary in safeguarding democratic values. Both constitutions recognize the judiciary as the guardian of the Constitution, entrusted with the responsibility of interpreting its provisions and ensuring their enforcement. The power of judicial review, while not explicitly mentioned in the American Constitution, was established through judicial precedent, most notably in the landmark case of Marbury v. Madison in 1803. This power enables the judiciary to act as a check on the legislative and executive branches, preventing the concentration of power and protecting individual rights. India, inspired by the American model, explicitly incorporated the power of judicial review in its constitution. Article 13 of the Indian Constitution declares that any law inconsistent with the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution shall be void. This provision empowers the Indian judiciary to strike down laws deemed to violate fundamental rights, ensuring their supremacy and safeguarding individual liberties. The Indian Supreme Court, much like its American counterpart, has played a pivotal role in shaping the country's legal landscape, interpreting the Constitution in a manner that promotes social justice and protects the rights of marginalized communities. The adoption of judicial review by India reflects a shared belief in the rule of law and the importance of an independent judiciary in a democratic society. Both the United States and India recognize that the judiciary, as the impartial interpreter of the Constitution, plays a vital role in upholding the rule of law, protecting individual rights, and ensuring that the government acts within the bounds of its constitutional authority. The power of judicial review, while not without its critics, remains a cornerstone of both American and Indian constitutionalism, a testament to the enduring influence of American legal principles on the global stage. Section 4. Elections and Representation, the Heart of Democracy. Central to both the American and Indian constitutions is the principle of representative democracy, where citizens exercise their political power through elected representatives. Both countries adopted systems of regular elections, ensuring that the government derives its legitimacy from the consent of the governed. The American Constitution, with its emphasis on popular sovereignty, provides for the election of the president, members of Congress, and various state and local officials. This system of regular elections ensures accountability to the people, as elected officials must seek re-election to remain in office. India, inspired by the American model, incorporated a system of universal adult suffrage in its constitution, granting all adult citizens, regardless of gender, caste, or religion, the right to vote. This landmark decision, a departure from India's colonial past, empowered millions of Indians to participate in the democratic process. India's Election Commission, an independent body, conducts elections for the parliament, state legislatures, and local bodies, ensuring free and fair elections. This commitment to regular, free, and fair elections reflects the shared belief in the power of the people to choose their leaders and hold them accountable. The adoption of electoral democracy by both the United States and India underscores the importance of citizen participation in governance. Both countries recognize that a healthy democracy requires an informed and engaged citizenry, actively participating in the electoral process. While the specific electoral systems in the United States and India differ in their details, they share a fundamental commitment to representative democracy, where the will of the people, expressed through the ballot box, shapes the destiny of the nation.